Hey metalheads, you like tattoos? Of course you do. If you're in the Louisville, Kentucky area, come on over the bridge to Clarksville, Indiana, and get you some ink done at Ageless Art. If ink isn't your thing, they have a piercing studio as well. Visit agelessartclarksville.com to see some frequently asked questions, meet the staff. The shop is open Monday through Thursday, 12 to 8 p.m., Saturdays, 12 to 10 p.m., and Sundays, 12 to 6 p.m., all appointment-only spots. You can set up your appointments by phone at 812-283-1793 or email agelessarttattooandpiercing@gmail.com and someone will get you set up for your first or your next tattoo or piercing.
Welcome to the night. You think you know Night Demon? Then the Night Demon Heavy Metal Podcast is for you. Step into the darkness as we peel back the curtain to give you an unprecedented, all-access look into the mind and the heart of the demon. We're talking band history, song analysis, studio anecdotes, stories from the road. It's everything a diehard Night Demon fan could want and more. This is the only place to learn the inside scoop, the deep dive trivia, the untold tales from the band members themselves and those closest to the Night Demon story. Need more? The Sacred Night Demon Crypt will be pried open to reveal demo recordings that have never before seen the light of day, all with in-depth commentary by the band and the people who were there for the writing and recording process. This is a gold mine, a treasure trove of all things Night Demon. Head over to nightdemon.net or wherever you listen to podcasts.
What's up, Metal Forge fans? This is Alan Bishop, the alchemist of Indiana's Black Forest and head distiller at Spirits of French Lick. Do you find yourself drawn to the unexplained, fascinated by the Fortean, or enchanted by the paranormal? If the things that go bump in the night resonate in your mind, then tune into my brand new podcast, If You Have Ghosts, You Have Everything. Featuring first-hand accounts, collected stories, interviews, history, and speculation related to all things not of this world. Available now on Anchor, Spotify, Google, Amazon, and more. Set back, relax, and remember, if you have ghosts, you have everything.
Thank you for tuning into the Metal Forge. I am Mark Jackson and I am your host. The premise of the show is pretty simple. Awesome interviews and awesome music. If you want to contact me, hit me up at metalforgeradio@gmail.com or visit the website metalforgeradio.com. And now, let's get this show on the road. What is going on, metalheads? Thank you for tuning in to the Metal Forge. How the fuck are you this Friday? Yeah, I am doing fan-fucking-tastic. I have Robbie Wooten here from Coathanger Abortion, and we're going to be talking about a 23-year-old episode here in the making. Not really 23 years, because this show hasn't been out 23 years, but they have. They have been out 23 years, ever since 2000, and I love long lineage bands like that, you know. It seems so rad to me that, like, a group of guys can stay together that long, and yeah, they've had some member changes and stuff like that, but it's awesome. Kind of got that going on myself here, you know, because we are entering the, is it 16 years in March for Overload. Holy crap, that's insane. 16 years. Yeah, rad times, and we're looking to put out a new EP, but I'm not here to talk about us right now, because we'll be on here. I'm going to have the other guys here soon for a Metal Forge, kind of reforged with Overload. But, you know, coming up, holy crap, I have, like, been, this goes out to Jet for, in Rifle. I've been busier than a cat trying to cover up turds. He's like, stop saying that. And I just keep doing it just to fuck with him. So, yeah, we have interviews all the way up until, like, the 0 hour, till, you know, after New Year's already. We've got some really cool people coming on. You might have noticed I promoted the 200th episode guest on Thursday the 17th. Holy shit, Lloyd Kaufman from Trauma Pictures is going to be the guest for the 200th episode of the Metal Forge, which is next week, the day after Thanksgiving, 11/25. And it is such a super extravagant show where we are going to hear from past guests, from other friends of the show who are possibly coming on again, hopefully soon, yes, and so much more. And there's a special treat in there as well, that not only will I be talking to Lloyd, but Athena from Metal Mischief and Jason from the Heavy Metal Wasteland will be on the line. We are all three going to be here talking with Lloyd, and we're also going to have an episode of each, the Heavy Metal Wasteland and Metal Mischief. And holy crap, I am excited for it, and I know you guys are too. The results are in. You know, we've got a kick-ass bunch of likes and new likes and shares, and I'm beside myself, and thank you all so much for the continued support that you have given the Metal Forge over the last 200 episodes and everything else. Here's to 200 more, and then another 200 after that. We're not slowing down anytime soon. Like I said, we have some really kick-ass guests coming on, you know, starting with episode 201 after Lloyd next week, and after we celebrate the 200th episode, we have some really fucking awesome people, like the Terrible Texan, Morta Scald, Split the Abyss, Sinistrum. So many awesome people coming on. I am so excited, and we are constantly trying to upgrade and update and have more in-person interviews when we can. Also, I also announced that on December 10th, if you are in the Louisville, Kentucky area, stop into the Mag Bar for the Metal Forge Live, featuring Rifle, Aerocobra, and a new band called Halfcaster. I was in a band with Jeff, the vocalist, and Overload's Todd Hawkins, you know, guitar player, is playing drums in Halfcaster. So come out. It is $10. The doors are at 7, show is at 8, and 21 and up. You know, it's going to kick ass. We're going to have a major awesome time, you know, just because it's the last Metal Forge live show of the year, and we're going to move forward into doing some more shows next year as well. Awesome stuff. So, I've yacked enough this week. Let's go ahead and get into this week's episode with Robbie Wooten from Coathanger Abortion. We're going to play a song off of their new album. This is from Plan C from Coathanger Abortion. This is What Lies Underneath. All right, metalheads, I'm being joined on the line from the vocalist of the band Coathanger Abortion, Mr. Robbie Wooten. Dude, what is going on?
What is up, Mark?
Man, I mean, it feels like yesterday that y'all were here, and it's been a while, you know. It's been since June. I can't believe that it's already November, and you guys, you know, you're always awesome, and I love having you guys up here in Louisville.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it.
Hell yeah, dude. So, how is everything down in, like, Chattanooga and everything right now?
Just the norm, man. We barely even play here. That's pretty crazy. We actually are playing a show this coming Friday at Level Up in Eastridge, Tennessee. So this is the first local show that we've played here in a while. So
right on. And by the time this is actually released, that should be today.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is coming out on the 18th. So you all are playing the 18th in Tennessee.
Yes.
Hell yeah, man. So for the rundown, you know, everybody, you know, let me introduce you to Coathanger Abortion. You know, they've been a death metal band. They've been on the scene for just over 20 years now. I mean, almost 23 years. So tell everybody else about the whole deal.
Let's see. The band was formed in 2000 between Scott McMasters and Jay Terry. And when bringing in other members into the band, they brought Billy Lynn on bass, and their first vocalist that they had was a guy by the name of Adam Evett. He's actually on the first demo. Anybody out there, if you've got a copy of that, you're real lucky. He was on that one that was released in 2003, and by 2004 he exited the band, and then I got the call from Scott, and the rest is history.
Okay, so it's always interesting to me because you came in 2004, and it's always interesting to me to see bands that, you know, start years before finally putting out like a full length, which seems like that kind of happened with you guys. That
yeah, and with that, I mean, we weren't taking it seriously in the beginning. You know, when I was brought into the band, I was, you know, gave the whole spiel that, you know, we do shows, and, you know, we're just wanting to have fun with this. We're just a small band out of Chattanooga, Tennessee, and, you know, we do a lot of tri-state area shows, where we traveled, 2 or 3 hours away from here. And that was basically the extent of it. So, and then it kind of got, more serious, so to speak, especially when our bassist at the time, Billy Lynn, had exited the band, and we ended up welcoming a guy out of Knoxville, Tennessee, Scott Dunlop, which he played in a band called Seraphim, and before that he was in a band called Besieged. And when he came into the band, we kind of started talking about actually putting out a full-length release, which we did, which is called Dying Breed. So after that kind of opened up the doors for shows and festivals. So it kind of started ramping up more. So that's kind of where that took off.
Definitely. And since he's no longer in the band, rest in peace. You all have kind of not really had a full-on bass player the whole time. Is that correct? I mean, I know Phil was there, but Phil's been a part of like every band since the beginning of time, kind of thing.
Yeah. Well, see, when we brought Ryan Coulter, our guitarist right now, when he joined the band, he was our he filled the shoes for One T. He was our permanent bass player.
Okay.
So at the time when he joined the band, we had Jonathan Rains and Jerry Cherry on guitar. So Ryan came in, filled the bass duty for a little bit, and then Jay ended up leaving the band. So when Jay left, Ryan is normally a guitarist. He can play bass. And he's a fine bass player, but his thing is guitar. So right. That was his opportunity to come in and start playing guitar. So we did that, and then Phil came in for a little bit. And when he came in, it was basically a tour duty.
Yeah, more like a live
musician. It's kind of hard for him to travel from Ohio all the way down here to Tennessee just to rehearse. So he was like, man, I can help out if you guys go on the road. So it made sense.
Definitely. And so all this is speeding up to, in 2015 you released Observations of Humanity, the full length, and then this year, just here about a month ago, you all released Plan C, the latest full-length album.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. So give us a rundown of Plan C.
See, I started writing the lyrics for the songs back in actually around 2019, early 2020. As soon as COVID hit, man, that put a stop to a lot of stuff. Shows, I mean, all the bands went through this, man. A lot of bands were, playing online, and it gave a lot of opportunity for bands to, like ourselves. We, took time, decided, hey, let's focus on putting out an album. Maybe by the time this whole COVID thing's over with, we can have something and we can get back to the norm. So we started working on Plan C.
Definitely.
And all the songs on there, man, they kind of just wrote themselves. It was like every week, I would have a song written, and by the time I go to rehearsal, the guys would already have the whole song ready for me. So it was like every week I was coming with the idea and the lyrics and the title, and it was like, same for the next week. And it was like, before you know it, it was like, okay, when are we going to record?
For sure.
And yeah.
And it's awesome because I actually have a copy here in my hand, and just the artwork alone, it screams, death metal. I love it because it's like, it's exactly what it needs to be for a good death metal album cover, which, I think artwork plays a huge role in a lot of things in music, especially.
Yeah, the artwork's done by Brutal Disorder Logos. He's out of Mexico. He's done all the artwork for the previous albums, Dying Breed, Observations of Humanity. So we kind of just stuck with him. He's real reasonable price range, and we figured, hey, we still consider ourselves just a underground, just garage death metal band. No need to be blowing money on artwork that costs $2,000. It's like, it is what it is. Right. And we find us a good independent artist, and hey, what better yet to this, hey, let's get his stuff out there, man.
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. And that's part of the game is, finding something what works and, having a good rapport with the artists as well.
And we've been sitting on this artwork for Plan C for the last 2 years. When we first grabbed it from him, we thought, is this going to be the artwork for the next album? Because at the time, we hadn't even started writing it. So it was like, well, it was either, it could be some artwork for, merchandise or whatnot. So we just sat on it.
Oh, wow. Which is interesting, too, because, you said you've had it for the last 2 years. And that's crazy to sit there and think. So was it always going to be called Plan C, or was that something that came up after the fact?
After we bounced around some ideas, and I was actually, this is nobody knows about this, but I was leaning towards the title "What Lies Underneath," which kind of almost fits the artwork in a way, and which that is the opening track for the CD. If anybody has ever seen the movie The Prince of Darkness, that is the birth of the Antichrist. So it kind of, in a way, fits the artwork in a way, but everybody kind of agreed that Plan C kind of fit, especially with what's going on with women's rights at the moment, with the whole, abortion take right now. So it was kind of like, let's go with that,
Definitely. And, side note on that is when I had you guys playing in Louisville, it actually was the day that the Supreme Court had overturned, it was like the next day or something like that. It was they did it on like a Thursday, and you all were playing that Friday, and it was crazy shit that it was such a fucked up event to have happen.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that for a second. You were talking about what lies underneath being the opening track on the album, and as I'm looking at this here, you guys have some kind of longer tracks on this one, because the Cannibal Crave, the Broken Hope cover, is the shortest track on the album.
Yeah, we kind of get into that rut where it's hard for us to write a short song. It's like when we get into the writing, or it's not really me. I guess it's hard to speak for the guys, because I notice that when I go to rehearsal and they bring a new song to me, I'm like sitting there looking at my watch going, God, man, this is like 6 minutes. So I got a lot of work to do here. So yeah, you can go back and listen to Dying Breed and Observations. We're guilty of the epic longer than 5 minute songs.
For sure. For sure.
And we actually talked about this too on this album. We tried to tone it down. In fact, we had to take a song off that didn't make it onto the album, because it would have been 55 minutes instead of 45.
Now, was that a conscious decision to do that based on was this being released on vinyl, or is this just on CD?
It's just on CD and digital.
Okay. Because I know on vinyl and stuff like that, you really have to pay attention to what the time that you're putting in to the actual songs, because if it goes over 45 minutes, then you're almost in, if you're keeping it on one disc vinyl wise, the sound quality starts to suffer, and then, or you're into like double LP territory.
Yeah.
Now, you all been on Comatose for all of the albums.
Yeah.
So
yeah, we did put out a split right before Plan C, which was on another label.
Okay. Yeah, The Hate Divide, which looks like it was Rottenness, Sacrificial Slaughter, and you guys.
Yeah, and that was released on HPGD Productions.
Hell yeah. And see, that's awesome, because like I like splits like that, where it's not just like you all have 4 songs on there and you all do a few different covers on there. You do Chopped in Half, you do Beyond the Cemetery, and Hybrid Moments.
Yeah, and there's one original, which was actually the beginning phase of what was leading into the writing for Plan C.
Definitely. Now, is that all? That's not on Plan C. That's its own. You to get that song, you have to get that split.
Yeah, exactly.
See, and I like it when bands do that. Actually, I like it when they don't what's the word I'm looking for here? When they don't reuse or regurgitate anything, and for example, the Hidden Treasures EP or whatever, or album from Megadeth, where it's all the songs that were on soundtracks that were not on albums, and the cover songs and stuff. I dig stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, there's no sense in putting that on another album, really,
Right, because again, it's probably something that maybe doesn't fit the headspace of what the album was. Because I don't know about you, but when I'm writing an EP or an album or something like that, I'm very much in a headspace to where everything tries to fit together.
Right.
Definitely. So this is new. This is brand new. And what are your all's plans and goals to do with this?
Doing what we normally do, man. Just go out and play as usual. Play as much shows as possible, as long as our jobs don't interfere, which mine actually has interfered a little bit, which cost me a festival here a while back. I had to bounce off of it and let a good close friend of mine, Chris Gorspawn, fill in for me up in South Dakota. Thank you, Chris, if you're listening.
Definitely. Yeah, that was back in August, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Definitely. So, I mean, I understand like the deal, how that goes with, the job and not being able to get off and everything, but I know it's got to bum you out, honestly.
Yeah, it did. It did in the beginning, man. It did. Was really, because honestly, we were scheduled to play the year before, and we were asked to play and got booked. And again, I had just started a new job where I wasn't able to take the time off. So I immediately told Scott, and he was like, "Well, I'm just going to tell him, we're not going to be able to play." So it bummed me out, and I can tell it bummed him out and everybody else. But we moved on, and then the opportunity came up again, and I was originally going to go up there and do it, but I got completely screwed over by my job about taking the time off. So it was a month away, and instead of telling the guys, "No, you guys can't go up there and do this again," I was like, "Man, I'm gonna find y'all a fill-in, and I'll get it worked out where all he has to do is just go up there with y'all and knock this out." And everything will be good. And it ended up being a total success. So,
and you know, it's great to have friends that can do stuff like that for you when that happens.
oh yeah.
Yeah. I definitely know what it's like to sit there and have to cancel a show because somebody's sick or can't, jobs screw you over, which they're notorious for doing to musicians. So yeah, that shit just sucks.
But it ended up, I was excited for the guys that weekend. As soon as I got home from work, I got home, watched it on the big screen, and was like, hey, this is actually pretty cool. Plus, they were playing a lot of the new stuff that's on Plan C, so I was excited to see, like, somebody else do the vocals, So that was real cool.
Definitely. So when it comes to doing stuff like that and saying it's cool. Is it something that is like really kind of cool for you to see what it's like to be from like, a bystander watching the show?
Yeah, man, because it kind of takes me back to before I was in the band. I was a fan of this band before I joined.
Okay.
I used to go to the shows and see them play, and I've known Scott and since I was 13 years old. So any band that he's been a part of, I've always been there, in support. And I've sat in the past bands and jammed and thinking, God, one day this would be pretty cool to be in a band with you, because I admire and look up to you as more than just a friend, but you're a killer drummer.
Yeah, he is. And there's three amazingly like giant drummers out there, and Scott's one of them. Ben from Entranced is another one. Henrik from a band called Screamer is another. And they're all like towering monster drummers, And
for me, it's not all about being like fast. I like a lot of control, and I like someone that can, play what the riff is playing.
Right.
Give it a signature sound. If it's groove, and then you got your slam here, and blast. I don't like it 100 miles an hour the whole time. Which that goes back to what I grew up on. I grew up on early 90s death metal, so
for sure. And it is nice to have a pocket in there where you can have the speed and the thrash side of things, and then you can have the doom side of things, and then you can have the brutalness with the death, and you can have multiple things, multiple genres and multiple styles all intertwined, which I think you all do, and I think you do it very well, actually.
Thanks, man.
Definitely. So, hell yeah, we're looking forward to more shows, more festivals coming up. Hopefully, y'all can get back up to Louisville here pretty soon.
Right on.
I know for me, I'm definitely going to bring you guys back as many times as you'll allow it and say yes.
Hey, man, I always enjoy coming out to Louisville, man.
Well, yeah, we've got, you've got so many friends that are from Kentucky and everything that come up to shows and everything, so it just kicks ass.
Oh, yeah.
So I'm going to go ahead and switch gears here. I'm going to ask you some general profile questions about you as a person. These can be related to anything. It's not all just about the music. It's about just life in general.
Right on.
Who was the best boss you ever had, and what made them the best?
Oh, let's see. The best boss. I'm going to go with probably a guy by the name of Gene Hammond. I used to do hardwood flooring. He was really cool. He was a skateboarder, and he's around my age. We got a lot of the same interest. Anytime that I needed to go on tour or do shows, he would always, let me off to go do the tours.
Hell yeah. See, that's pretty cool because, you know, a lot of bosses are not like that. I'm lucky enough to have one where I was just like, we were doing a tour here about a month ago, and I was like, man, I really just want to go ahead and take off the Monday, but I don't have the vacation day to do it. And he's like, dude, it's okay. Just go ahead and take it. I'm like, all right, man, thanks. So that's always fun. Would you travel to space if possible?
Would I travel to space? That sounds interesting, man. I'd like to go to Mars.
Yeah. I mean, like Total Recall style, would you go to Mars? Like,
hell yeah. Oh yeah. Do I get to sit in the chair and pretend I'm an agent?
And see the alien with 3 titties? Yes, exactly. If you could choose any musician, dead or alive, to spend an hour of the day with, who would you choose and what would you do?
It would be Cliff Burton, man. And what I would do, it would be filling his head full of questions. You know,
definitely.
I wouldn't even want to jam. I would want to sit and, you know, smoke a good joint with him.
Hell yeah. See, and I know you're a huge Metallica fan, which I kind of assumed you would have said Cliff Burton, which is awesome because, you know, out of everybody else out there, you know, like Chuck from Death and people like that, you did stick to the, you know, to the roots, and you picked Cliff, which is awesome.
Yeah, man. I mean, I have a soft spot about him, man. You know, him being like, you know, I used to play bass in previous bands before I joined Coathanger, and he was always, you know, someone I always looked up to as a bass player. And, you know, it's crazy. Like, he was my favorite bass player of all time. And then, you know, his anniversary of his death actually falls the day before my birthday.
Oh, wow.
So, and it's weird how there's a connection there on that.
Definitely. Now, by the time that Cliff had passed, were you old enough to know who Metallica was, and were you already a fan?
I didn't learn about his passing until around when Garage Days came out. At the time, I was real young, but my this babysitter that would be watching over me and my brother, her oldest son, who also skateboarded, and at the time I was, you know, skating. He was listening to all kinds of type of music, like underground punk rock to metal, and he was already, you know, deep in, you know, digging into early death metal like Death and Napalm Death, and you know, he actually turned me on to Metallica, which at the time, you know, Garage Days had just came out. And he was kind of like my guru at the time too. He was always, you know, telling me history about those bands, you know, the Misfits and Danzig. So I was learning a lot about that stuff, you know, at, you know, 9-10 years old. So
definitely,
you know, and then I did my own research too on top of that, and, you know, finding out, whoa, you know, this guy, you know, just recently passed away. Oh man, you know, day before my birthday. You know, this is just, you know, and then it just kind of took off from there, and just fell in love with that band completely.
Definitely, man. See, that's rad. You know, that you had somebody like that to, you know, to let you in on heavy music and stuff. What is the main thing on your bucket list?
Main thing on my bucket list. Man, I really don't have one, to be honest with you. If you would have asked me that question about 10 years ago, I'd probably gave you a whole book. because I gotta tell you, like, ever since the birth of my daughter, my views on life and everything really has changed a lot. And I have seen myself, you know, my views have changed. So I look at every day, you know, completely different now. So there's really not anything I could say fuck it on.
Definitely, man. Definitely. If you were going on a road trip, say you're going back to South Dakota next year, what are the 3 things that you have to have with you that you couldn't leave without?
One would be my own personal microphone. I can't stand using other microphones.
I get that.
Let's see. Extra change of clothes. Definitely some extra cigarettes. And there's something I always do. I normally pick up while I'm on the road is a state magnet for my refrigerator. I have an awesome collection.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah, I've almost got the whole map of the United States on my refrigerator.
So what you're saying is we need to get Coathanger to Alaska and Hawaii also.
Well, let's see, the Hawaii thing I've got, I didn't play there, but I got married there.
Wow.
But yeah, Alaska. I don't know if Scott would be up for that trip.
Yeah, he doesn't seem like he likes the cold either. What was the best present you ever received?
One of the best presents, there's 2 actually. One, I got a signed guitar from my son by the members of Led Zeppelin.
Oh, wow.
I got that for a Christmas present one year, and the other one was a chance to go see Metallica there in Louisville, Kentucky, 2 years ago.
Yeah, Louder Than Life.
That was actually a birthday present from my wife. So.
Nice. Now, how many times have you seen them?
I've seen them 3 times.
That's same for me. And it's interesting to be like in on like the Met family stuff where you see some of these people that like follow them around and have been to like 150 shows and shit. And it's like, wow, that would be cool, but like, that's a lot.
Yeah. I mean, I would probably be guilty of that if I had the money. Right. I actually tried to make plans to go see them just here recently in Florida, in Hollywood, Florida, and the tickets were just outrageous, man. I was like, dude, there's no way I can drop $2,000.
Right, for the John and Marsha Zazula memorial. Yes, definitely. And I've seen some videos dropped from that, and the videos,
dude, it looked awesome.
Yeah, it looked like a lot of fun, and it was them and Raven, I believe. Yeah, just like it was on the original
83
tour. Yeah, but I think it was played in a reverse order. I think Metallica ended up closing those shows.
Oh.
Instead of Raven closing the show. What would you do if you had an extra hour in the day?
What would I do? Probably sit and watch another movie. I'm guilty of that's when I'm at the house chilling with the family. We sit around, we watch a lot of movies.
Right on. And see, that's totally cool because, and I think this is really awesome because, like, film culture in metal, whether it be, just like documentaries or even just straight up horror films from the 80s, they all are part of the metal culture, I think.
And see, I'm guilty about that when I'm doing my writing. A lot of my lyrics and ideas come from movies. A lot of people may like that. A lot of people may say, "Oh, that's lame, man. There's nothing original about it." But for me, that's just where I get my ideas from.
Well, definitely. I mean, because they have to come from somewhere, and I think that's totally rad, because I wish I could actually write stuff like that, where I could pick something like, the last time I wrote about a movie, like, it got me in the headspace, I should say, to write what I did, was funny enough, it was the 10 Commandments. And
oh, wow.
Just because it's an epic film. When for the time period it was made and the effects that they had used in the film and so on and so forth, I think it's shot beautifully, and that's the film nerd stuff coming out in me. But like, seriously, like when that happened and I was just able to be like, sit down and say, I've got this big idea, and I think that's kick-ass.
Killer.
Yeah, for sure. So I have one more question, but before we do it, as always, links are listed below, so please give a like, a share, and a follow. Please support these guys in any way you can. Keep kicking ass and, buying that merch, buying those CDs, buying those digital albums, doing what you do to make these guys the money to come out and tour and see you, and you see them. Robbie, do you have any shout-outs you want to give to anybody today?
I'm gonna give a shout out to my son Zach down there in Shreveport. What's up, Zach? And let's see. Or let me rewind that and give him a shout out down there in Slidell.
Yeah.
All those cities down there get me all mixed up down there in Louisiana. But yeah, and everybody that's bought the Plan C CD so far, man, thank you.
Hell yeah, dude. Awesome. So final question of the day is, what is the surefire way out of anything else? What is one surefire way to grab your attention?
Grab mine?
Yeah.
Man, honestly, that is the hardest question of the night.
Yeah, I think that's interesting, because you're pretty laid back. If it's going to be something that you're just going to be like, whoa, hang on, it's got to be something.
Man, I don't know if I can answer that. What's one thing that would grab my attention? Seeing somebody wear one of our shirts. Because I have that when I do see somebody wear, especially around town,
it's surprising
to me. It is, because I mean, with a lot of the death metal bands, with the logos, they use those logos where it's kind of hard to read and stuff, but with the point of us with our name where you can actually read it, I think it gives the person to have more balls to wear it and offend somebody. Because I mean, I've worn our own shirts out in public, and I've gotten the stink eye. And so I imagine, for someone else to want to wear some of our merch, it does take some balls to wear it, especially down in here in the Bible Belt here.
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, me and the family, we'll go to the amusement park here, and I'll be picking out a shirt for the day, and I know, I might not want to wear our shirt. I know what kind of shit I'm going to get if I go, and I don't want that passed down on my family,
Right.
But
definitely. Yeah, that's something that, I'm sure, when you're out with the family, that's something that you don't want to put out on them.
Which they're very supportive of me and my band. But when we go out in public, I kind of tone it down a little bit. I mean, I still wear my metal shirts, but, if you want to get my attention, you know, and it has. When I've seen people wearing our stuff, you know, it's like, hey, that's cool. Or a sticker on the back of a car. It's like, yeah, you got to really, you know, be supportive if you want to support our stuff.
Hell yeah, man. Dude, Robbie, thank you so much for coming on the Metal Forge this week. This has kicked so much ass, man.
Thanks for having me, man. It's always a pleasure to chill and talk with you, brother.
Hell yeah, dude. I appreciate everything that you all do, and keep pumping out the fucking awesome metal and kicking fucking ass as you all do.
All right.
Dude, so on our way out today, off of Plan C, what do you want to play?
Let's see. What do I want to play? Let's play Cannibal Crave.
Oh, you want to do you want to play the cover?
Yeah.
Hell yeah. So, you heard him. This is from Coathanger Abortion doing a Broken Hope cover. So let me
this is also with Damien on guest vocals from Broken Hope.
Hell yeah. Here it is. This is Cannibal Crave. Hey, let me tell you guys about Mercenary Press. They're an independent London label and distributor of all things metal. Mercenary Press delivers the goods from their own independent zine. Trust me, you're going to want to get in on that. To distributing various bands from all over the world, including Cramp from Spain and Sadistic Force from Texas. Visit mercenarypress.bigcartel.com to find out what all they have in stock and what you can order. And for Metal Forge listeners, enter code MetalForge to receive a discount on your total purchase at mercenarypress.bigcartel.com. Check it out now.
Since 2013, there has been a calling from the underground, from the graves of all those unholy, and they decided to make a zine to talk about all of this. Soulgrinder Zine, an independent metal zine to keep you informed on all things metal and horror from the underground. Available in both print and digital formats, they're bringing you the best interviews and reviews out there today. Not only do they do the zine, but they also do compilation CDs. Check them out at facebook.com/soulgrinder.zine and start your subscription now.
Hey Metalheads, it's with great pleasure I get to tell you guys about a new sponsor to the Metal Forge, Ageless Art, New Albany. After 20 years of owning and operating Ageless Art in Clarksville, Indiana, Phil Garrett had a vision for a new type of tattoo studio. Something that is clean and modern, sleek, refined, inviting. And he's done just that with Ageless Art in New Albany. You can find it at 2736 Charlestown Road, New Albany, Indiana, 47150. Business hours are Monday through Saturday, 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. Sundays are 12 to 6. All sessions are appointment only, so give them a call and go get you some new ink. Or if it's your first time, go get your first one, baby. Hey everybody, let me tell you about the new sponsor to the Metal Forge, Unchained Tapes. They're an independent Pennsylvania tape label. They focus on extreme metal and punk with a killer approach to the tape scene. Visit their web store at unchainedtapes.bigcartel.com now to get your fill of tapes. And for being a Metal Forge listener, enter the code MetalForge10 at checkout to get a 10% discount on your total purchase. That's unchainedtapes.bigcartel.com.
Hey guys, Wrestling Steve of the Wrestling Steve Show here. So if you're currently listening to the Metal Forge with Mark Jackson, then you understand that Mark Jackson has a pretty discerning taste when it comes to music as a whole. You'll also understand that he has a discerning taste for professional wrestling, just like me. My show is called the Wrestling Steve Show. I talk about modern and classic pro wrestling in a completely unbiased, unfiltered way. Be sure to check me out on all available podcasting platforms. That is the Wrestling Steve Show. And I am the host, Wrestling Steve. Just remember, like Confucius said, man who goes through turnstile in Thailand is going to Bangkok. Pro wrestling.
It's Gonna Get Weird is the name of the podcast. We're on season 2, so you have a whole season to get weird with Frank Green and Scott Clark. The best part is there's always laughter.
Oh, yeah, you just pull that out.
We have national touring comedians, NFL stars, rock stars, your local friends. It always gets weird. Weird answers.
Have y'all ever snorted coke off of a 78 Pinto? No? You ain't no
man.
Weird questions.
Who had a bigger cocaine habit, Jock Sutherland or Kaywood Ledford?
Neither one, because they stopped beating their wives.
And weird we never even thought of.
Well, no. My friend is on acid, and I sent my friend to go find a payphone so that I can call and turn myself in for murdering this guy and ruin my life.
We love all types of people, but we don't love all people.
Weird. It's Gonna Get Weird is the name of the podcast, available everywhere. And thank you to Big X Sports Radio for being a proud sponsor of It's Gonna Get Weird. Frank Green, Scott Clark. Yeah.
Hey, thank you all for tuning into this week's episode of The Metal Forge. I want to take a minute to remind you guys about the Patreon page. Over on the Patreon page, we have the tiers set up to support the production of the show. We feature the Down and Dirty, which is just $1. There's nothing special for that one, it just sends me a thank you, because every dollar helps. Then there's the Double Down and Dirty. Much akin to the Down and Dirty tier, everything helps produce the show in the end. You make your presence known, and I appreciate that more than you realize. Thank you for being a dedicated friend and supporter of the Metal Forge. By selecting that tier, you will receive some cool Metal Forge stickers in your mailbox. Now, we're really going to start pounding the metal madness with the Apprentice Metalhead for just $5 a month. By becoming an Apprentice Metalhead, you'll be given early access to the shows, published 24 hours before everyone else gets it. You're also going to receive 3 entries in any contest that we do here at the Metal Forge. You're also going to receive a 10% discount on all Metal Forge merch, and you're going to receive a sweet Metal Forge patch for your battle jacket or backpack. And now, here is the big one. This is the Master Metalhead for just $10 a month. By becoming a Master Metalhead, you will receive a hand-numbered Metal Forge Master Metalhead membership card. You're going to be given early access to the shows as well, with 36 hours before everyone else. You're going to receive 5 entries in any contest that we do here at the Metal Forge. You'll be able to submit audio questions that I will use on the show of you asking questions to the upcoming guests. Remember, timing is everything, and you will need to keep up with the upcoming guest list on the website. You're also going to receive advanced knowledge of any new merch coming out and be given a 25% discount on all Metal Forge merch. And you're also going to get all of the other rewards from the other tiers. So visit patreon.com/Metal Forge Radio today and help support the Metal Forge. Rock on.